Ladies and gentlemen, we have our earnings analysis, Apple, Snap, Juniper, and more. Is Facebook going to allow you to date? According to the company, yes, they are. All that and more here on the Newsbeat Show. So Facebook comes out, and there's a dating service right now, and you're going to be able to date on Facebook. How amazing! Because hooking up wasn't already easy enough. And then I read, what kind of relationships does Facebook expect to offer through their service? And I almost stained myself because I looked at this and I couldn't stop laughing because it was the funniest thing ever. Because Facebook is trying to uphold this sense of morality. If you haven't noticed, there is the first Facebook commercial ever of Facebook saying what they're going to do to ensure your experience is safe and that you could just enjoy connecting with friends. Now they're going to offer an opt-in to date. And as hold on, I just all right, I have to. That's pretty funny. I'm about to say it. They want you to have long and meaningful relationships. The feature will be opt-in and will not suggest users' friends to date. So they're not going to look at your friends, they're going to look at other people. And it's not just for hookups, but to build meaningful long-term relationships, says Mark Zuckerberg. And he also stressed that the new tool was built for privacy and security in mind, because we all know how well privacy and security works when you start having strangers giving each other phone numbers and emails and meeting in random places that they set up. We all know that that is the definition of privacy and security, Mark Zuckerberg. Who better than to take it from you, sir? So as a result, this is what happened. Ooh, wow. Look at Match.com. It's like somebody set a match on the stock and set it on fire. Match.com, of course, owner of things like Tinder. Did you see what I did there? I said Tinder. Why do people go on Tinder? Why do you think? I've never been on Tinder. I know people who have. People go on Tinder for one reason: to have sex. Because is it really that hard to, you know, go on a dating app and find somebody willing to sleep with you? Apparently. So why not cut all the BS, cut all the dating, cut all this fine whining and dining? Just let's get to the part where we could be promiscuous and get away. That is what Match is. That is what Tinder does. Not only that, Match also owns, you ready for this? OkCupid. OkCupid is the halfway house where you have some people who want to date and some people just want to have sex. That's like halfway serious relationship, halfway I don't want a relationship at all. And then of course you have Match.com, which is, all right, I went on Tinder. I already slept with 300 people. All right, I went on Plenty of Fish. I slept with like 150 people there. And now I'm done with it. And now I want to be serious, so I'm going to go on Match. And that's what they did. It's genius the way they set it up, Match. So Facebook is going after long-term relationships. Good. Good for them. And oh my God, did they beat up Match. Now, what also happened on Match? Evercore came in after hours, and I'm going to disagree. Analyst came out lowering his price target on Match Group to $37 from $48, following Facebook's announcement of a new dating feature at today's F8 developer conference. And while his estimates for Match Group haven't changed, really? What kind of genius does this? So you're lowering your price target, but your estimates didn't change? So, oh, wait, are you saying they're not going to lose money? Or did you just panic, crap yourself, and lower your price target before your boss enters your room tomorrow and starts grilling you? The analyst is 110% wrong. He is admitting it in his own words. Analyst worries. See, now the analyst is worried, so he's already thinking emotionally. Because we all know how making a big decision is really intelligent when you're emotional and worried about a situation as opposed to thinking clearly. De Clemente, let's see, Anthony De Clemente, genius of May 1st, worries that Facebook's entry into dating could pressure the multiple investors who will pay for Match shares. So he's afraid because Facebook is considering or will be doing a long-term serious relationship dating service that people, forget about signing up for Match's service, won't be willing to buy Match's common stock. Have you ever heard something so intelligent in your life? Well, I'm going to tell you, Mr. Clemente, why you are absolutely incorrect. First of all, yes, there are more people who are going to want to hook up and get laid than have a long-term relationship. I hate to break it to you. You know why? Because people look for long-term relationships and get in a long-term relationship for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, get married, whatever. Those are the people who are not on the market anymore. Those are the people who are not looking for another long-term relationship. And then you have the people who are on Tinder looking and hooking up and having sex with random people that they meet. Those people are going to continue to want to have sex with random people they meet. And not only that, a percentage of the people in those long-term relationships will want to have sex with some of the random people they meet. Okay? You want to you want to talk business? That's business. In fact, I would argue that Facebook's entering the dating business improves Match's stock price. There's only one reason. Let me give you an example. So Amazon starts buying an organic grocer like Whole Foods Market, something we predicted here, one of the correct predictions we had here on the M&A scene. What happened? What happened to other what happened to other organic grocers? Do you remember this? Do you remember this right here? Boom! Look at that. It got destroyed. Came all the way up. Amazon still pushing forward. Boom! Got destroyed. Buying opportunity. Because the same thing is happening here with Facebook and Match that is happening when Amazon took over a grocer. The fact that Amazon bought Whole Foods isn't hurting other organic grocers. Quite the opposite. It's enshrining their true value. And if you think people are going to sit there, hold their breath for this Facebook app, and once this Facebook long-term relationship comes in a country and where sexual liberty is at the highest state that it has ever been known in the entire history of humanity, that it's going to hurt stocks like Tinder and apps like Tinder, which is owned by Match, of course, and apps like Plenty of Fish, and even apps like Match.com, you are delusional. There's going to be a number of people who don't want other people to know they are dating people on Facebook directly. How about that? So while I do think this is beneficial for Facebook, I also think it's beneficial for Match shares. And of course, IAC also owns a portion of Match. That's IAC Interactive Corporation. You could see this one also just absolutely getting slammed. Absolutely getting slammed. And I went ahead and I bought calls of this because this stock is going to go up in value. I think this stock is going to go up in value. I bought calls at the low of the day. Um, I bought 135 May monthlies. Somebody in the room got like $6 and I think 10 cents or 20 cents. I paid $6.30. So we're pretty much long right off the day lows. I see no reason that this stock isn't going to go higher. Not only that, these stocks are all going to report earnings. Guess what? They're going to look undervalued. This whole Facebook breaking into your space thing is similar to the Amazon breaking into your space thing. And I have to remind you what Costco also did. In the argument I made on, remember this on Costco when we plunged after the Whole Food merger? What was my reaction? People are not going to use Amazon to buy the bulk amount of things that they would in a Costco. And that was my argument then, if you recall. And I'm bringing it up because it's so true. I'll remain consistent on these issues, whether I'm right or wrong. But in Costco, people were buying tons of food, and they don't need to order their food on Amazon. In fact, people are still going to be weirded out about not going into the grocery store, picking out their own tomatoes, cucumbers, apples, and fruit and perishable produce. They don't want to do that. Heck, do you want to buy a gallon of milk? Do you want to buy it on Amazon? Do you want it shipped to your door? We'll send it in 2 days. You want that? I would love when they start running lab tests to see the amount of bacterial and mold growth based on poor refrigeration tactics, which I'm sure Amazon is scuttling and scuffling to try to put together. This is a buying opportunity. An analyst even came out and downgraded it. I think he doesn't know what he's talking about, is my best guess. I'm bullish on Match. They're reporting next week. Do you think their numbers are going to be blown out of the water? How many people today are going to sign on Match for the first time as opposed to quit their membership because they're hearing, oh, well, now that Facebook will be offering it sometime in the unknown future for, now I'm done. I'm done with this Match.com thing. Thank you. I'll wait for Facebook because if you know what happens, let me tell you what happens. If people are smart, what happens is Match.com has an algorithm to set up people that are right for you. And it has a robot literally choosing your future destiny. And then what happens is Facebook also begins writing an algorithm where you could say things you like. Wait till they start having you input the person's salaries. You know how many people are going to feel comfortable putting in their salary on Facebook, regardless if they make too little or too much or in between? Almost all of them. But let's see. Let's see if Facebook can really develop long-term relationships. Aww. Do you think this is just a ploy for the recent Senate hearings? So let's say Facebook does pull this through. You know what a smart company does? I'll give you some M&A thoughts. How about Netflix? Because people just scroll for a movie and watch it. What about Netflix dating? They go ahead, they merge or buy out Match.com, and now people are using their Netflix for dating as well. And not only that, since there are movies and videos, Netflix allows you to shoot a little video about yourself in which you can answer questions, smile in the camera, and you could literally have people scroll through Netflix videos and look for potential mates. Sounds awesome, right? You know how easy that technology is to implement in a Netflix? How about Google? How about Apple? How about Apple dating? Now, Apple might not want to go into dating right away because it's social media. How about Twitter? Tell me in 140 characters or less why you are the right person for me. So, when I see this, My head spins in circles. Nonetheless, I am bullish. I didn't buy Match, but I bought a company that owns Match, which also went down. I bought IAC calls. I'm very bullish on it. Let's move on along. So, oh, well, you know what? Let's do a quick joke. Let's do a quick joke since we're talking about these dating apps, and then I'll move on to earnings and we're going to analyze Apple, Juniper, and all that good stuff. You know, it was funny. When I was 25 years old, you know, I slept on a pull-out bed. I had a tiny, tiny television screen, and I was sleeping next to a hot 23-year-old. Now, when I grow old, and I had like I had an old Toyota Camry as a car. And it's like now, when I'm older, I have a nice bed to sleep in. I have a big flat screen TV. I have a nice car. But I have an older lady sleeping next to me. So I go to her and I basically say, I tell her my conundrum. And she's like, that's good. I'll tell you what. You can go find a hot 23-year-old, and I'll make sure that you could also sleep again on a pull-out couch and watch television on a very small screen. Little marriage joke for you guys. Not a true story. Hope you enjoyed that. Let's go into Apple analysis. Okay, so we have some earnings analysis here. We're going to start off with Apple. Okay, so this one was actually sort of tricked me in a way, despite the fact that I felt I knew what was happening. Now, if you were watching the Newsbeat show, we talked about Apple needing to do a massive buyback in order to justify their weak reform. And that is exactly what happened. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the largest buyback a company has ever announced in United States history. So Apple did exactly, they pulled the Facebook. While Facebook was having issues, all of a sudden there's long-term relationships and commercials showing how Facebook is just there to help you. And then a massive buyback on Facebook earnings. Now, on Apple earnings, the Q3 revenue is 51.5 to 53.5 billion. That's actually below the 52.04 billion on the median. However, they reported $100 billion buyback. By far the largest has to be the largest buyback ever in known human history for any stock ever. They boost their dividend by 16%. And the reason why they did that was because their numbers are falling. On their Mac units, their second quarter Mac units was 4.08 million versus 4.2 million last year, dropped by 120,000. iPad units raised from 9.11 million to 8.92. That's slowing growth, by the way, if you weren't aware of that. Their service revenues went up. That was also slowed growth, by the way, on a percentage basis. Apple says they're optimistic in light of a potential US-China trade war. iPad growth is strong in Europe and Asia, which is also very important, showing that it's doing well overseas. Apple gapping up here, trading at 175. So this one, I took lotto positions on a bunch of names. So the first one I took is IAC. I also did lotto puts on Apple, which don't look like they're working. So here's a trade that the one thing I was afraid of was a buyback. And you know what I told myself in my head? I told myself, and again, I talked about Apple doing a buyback the other day. I told myself in my head, okay, what kind of buyback is Apple going to do? I was thinking like 20 billion, 25 billion dollars. That's what was going through my head. And I was measuring it off the slowing iPhone growth, which I inevitably saw, and a lot of analysts did too. I wasn't the only person who saw that coming. And I said, okay, well, if that happens, they should flush down on the news. And then what happened is they came out with $100 billion buyback, the largest buyback again in known history. and they ended up popping the stock significantly higher. So it was kind of incredible to see this $100 billion buyback from Apple. Um, I don't know how it's going to trade tomorrow. Bullish trigger is 175.39, and that's going to be the key level to hold above, and that could get you to 178.82. That's the level I'd look potentially tomorrow for Apple. In terms of trading it with fresh positions on the intraday, um, I would look for a 5 minute exponential 8 tomorrow, the first time it pulls back and hits. You're not going to see it with this after hours chart now. This is after hours, it's trading, as you can see here, 175.15. I wouldn't I wouldn't look to go crazy yet, but I think Apple's going to be a long opportunity tomorrow for at least a scalp, if not more, on the exponential 8 on the 5 minute. Now here's the deal. If it puts in a, I have to explain my strategy. If it puts in a bull flag tomorrow, you know what a bull flag looks like? If you took my course, great. If you don't, if you didn't, you probably still know what it is. If you still don't know what it is, just look up bull pennant or bull flag on the internet. If we get a 5 minute bull flag on Apple and then it pulls back to the exponential 8, I have a feeling we'll be able to swing that position for the entire day and make really good bank on it on Apple. That's what I think if it does that. If it falls and it immediately falls down to the exponential 8 and hits, I think we'll have a scalp trade. So, regardless of how that exponential 8 hits, I'm going to buy Apple. Depending on what the setup is prior, is dependent on how long I hold it. Next, as you guys know, as I say in the Newsbeat show, Snapchat, one of the Melnick's top 5 worst management companies on the planet. Um, this is what happens when you let computer nerds make major decisions. So here's the deal. Now, why do I make fun of these owners? Because they didn't want their shareholders to have voting rights, because they obviously know what's best for the company. I mean, obviously. Well, $11.28 is the all-time low in one of the most bullish markets known to humanity. Congratulations, Snapchat. You're doing an awesome job. I went ahead and I took the straddle. I bought $14 calls and $14 puts. The stock is trading about $12 right now. Should be up a little overall because of the puts, and maybe we'll get to hold the calls as a lotto ticket. I am still interested to see what some of these analysts might say. When Snapchat gaps down, you tend to have a lot of movement. I mean, last time when you opened up at 1350 back in November, you flushed to 1210. So this could really pay off well for us. This was the third position I took, and it was a straddle in Snapchat. Looking at the earnings, they lost 17 cents. They were expected to lose 17 cents. However, the revenue of 230 million missed the consensus revenue of 243 million. Snap says Android's performance is still a weakness. What? Really? You're dragging Google into this? How about your company's management is still a weakness? And you have to remember, I was the same person who bashed and bashed Chipotle back when it was right over here in the $600 range. I bashed it in the $500 range, $400. I put an $80 target as it was going down. And then I changed it because they got rid of their management right over here on February 14th, Valentine's Day. What a lovely day. And then I completely changed immediately on Chipotle. I said, okay, they took the Taco Bell CEO. Who better to sell Mexican food in America than the Taco Bell CEO, number one seller of Mexican food in America, maybe even the planet. You know, Taco Bell, if you consider them that Mexican food, of course, probably not authentic, but they definitely sell Mexican cuisine. They took the Taco Bell CEO, and that was exactly the right person for the job. That's when I actually turned bullish here on CMG. You know when I'm going to be bullish on Snapchat? When they fire the two knuckleheads who are running the company who don't want any of their shareholders to have any say in the company. And you have to remember that I called them idiots from day one when the stock opened up and it popped up here and I was bearish all along. even after this, and it fell. I have a $0 target on Snap until they change something or until someone buys them out. $0 target until something changes. They'll probably change something before it gets to zero because you have to get to 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Just like I have a $0 target on Fitbit until something changes. Now, again, the $0 target in Fitbit was there for a while. These are just some of the worst run companies in existence. The management is just absolutely terrible. So, with that being said, going back to Snap, numbers looked awful. Um, Snap says advertising market is starting to embrace its business. Um, okay, I disagree. I disagree that they're embracing you. You want to know who the ad market is embracing? Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, and 100,000 other companies. They're not embracing you. They went ahead, they changed their platform. Everybody hated it. They said they were going to revert to the platform. That's like an epic fail. How stupid do you have to be to change your platform and not know that people wouldn't like it? Who is in charge of that beta testing? Who is in charge of looking at your platform and deciding if the new platform was good? Why is it the majority of people who actually use Snap hated your new platform? Hmm, more geniuses at work. Nonetheless, our put should be doing well tomorrow, obviously. In the put part of the straddle, I'll be looking to take profits there. Moving on, last but not least, I took a Juniper straddle. And for those who are listening, strangle. And for those who don't know what a straddle or a strangle is, it just basically means you buy calls, you buy puts, and you hope you have a big move in either direction to capitalize on the name. So in Juniper here, shot up to 2661, pulled back to 2478, just chilling out right now at 2550. Let's go ahead and talk about these earnings. 28 cents a share beat the 26 cents expected. 1.08 billion beats the 1.05 billion consensus. They see adjusted earnings per share of 44 cents plus or minus 3 cents with a consensus of 43. Um, Interesting. I think I would say I'm at least slightly bullish. I think the way Juniper moves tomorrow is going to come down to the analyst, and that's going to heavily dictate the profitability of our positions on this one. Again, it's a Tuesday. We're walking into Wednesday. We still have a little bit of time value. We'll see how this one works out. So those were the four positions I took. Again, Apple puts not working, Snap straddle working, IAC interactive. I had the huge defensive match, considering we bought this thing right by dead lows. And you're showing at least up $1 at the moment. It's working so far. We'll see how it opens up tomorrow. Granted, anything can change in the earnings names as well. And congratulations to Apple. It's so easy. You know, anybody who tells you you can't throw money at a problem is obviously doesn't know what throwing $100 billion at a problem is. No need to have negative forecast if the company is so bullish in its shares right here, to the point of how many $100 billion companies are there? Apple saying that the repatriation of money that they're bringing in from overseas is helping this, and we'll see tomorrow how all these earnings names and IAC pan out together. All right, game plan in Forex. Very simple. We're going to go right into letter I. Letter I has just been on an absolute roll, on a tear. Pulled in a little on earnings and then just shot through the moon. Stock is phenomenally bullish. I'm looking for a breakout of 1386. Maybe that gives you some follow through to the upside. That's letter I. A lot of these game plan names have been pretty hot recently. And a lot of people who watch the Newsbeat show have been enjoying them. People who are unfortunately not part of our room. The truth is, trading has been a little muted today and yesterday. You know, I haven't been doing much at all. And that was just really because of, Apple reporting. But now that Apple reported, I think we could finally start getting a lot of momentum. And I would be surprised if we don't have a bullish chatter play tomorrow, or a bullish news name, or a bullish M&A name. tomorrow, I'm putting the odds of that over 95% as well. So being in the room, I mean, look, the market's going to get good, it's going to get crap, it's going to get good, it's going to get crap. All days are not created equal in this market. Some days are good for some days are bad for some and others, and vice versa. It's just about the news flow and it's just about the type of readable action that you can be part of. So again, I'm bullish on letter I. And of course, we have our Forex trades. I actually got filled on a couple of them. Currently down a little money in both of them, but they didn't get stopped out yet. But I still have two live positions. So please notice the top is a live, two live positions that I'm in that got filled. The bottom four are for new orders that I'm throwing in. These two were obviously the orders from last night. I cancel all the open orders, keep all the open positions, and then put in new orders. So below the gray line here, um, US standard lots, the symbol, the price I'm willing to pay for them, the stop loss, and the take profit. Here's 120% transparency for all my Forex orders. And ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, we're going to our full stock analysis. That's your stocks, my levels and thoughts. Of course, you have to be a member of the Newsbeat live room if you wish to have me analyze everything that you're watching on your radar. We're the fastest growing trading room in the nation. Happy trading, make money. We'll see you guys next time on the Newsbeat live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.